She filling it with rocks? Oh, is she gonna go and just whack someone in the face with a bag of rocks? Oh my god, yes! Baby, yes, we have both Villainess shows are hitting the shitty feet. Oh, that's actually kind of clever. So she made this Villainess story, and her self-insert is the hero, but she gets reincarnated as the Villainess of her own story. Okay. That actually, okay, we're only 2 minutes in, and I'm already kind of sold on this, I ain't gonna lie. I kid you not, this new Villainess anime might be my second favorite new anime of this season. I'm not even exaggerating, that's how much I enjoyed it. This was the show I planned on watching and had the least amount of expectations for. I was like, oh, this will just be your run-of-the-mill Villainess show. But given Villainess anime and myself's track record, I tend to enjoy most of them, so I had to check it out. Not only is it hilarious, it's unironically one of the most interesting premise I've seen for like an isekai story, because that's what these Villainess shows are. It's just a different type of isekai. Imagine having this like overly cringe author who just wrote the most elaborate fanfiction style story known to man, actually seemingly had a decent amount of lore, and then left a character sheet somewhere. 10 years go by, right? Mom calls her up. Hey, I found this like piece of paper in your stuff. Can I throw it away? And she's like, I got everything I need. I don't really care. And she's like, wait a gosh darn truck-coom. Turns out, the Villainess of this story she wrote has a bit of a character piece, which basically isekais herself as the author. And the idea that, like, okay, the way Villainess show works, character becomes the Villainess of the series. They try to avoid death flags, this, that, and the third. And for the most part, they've been a lot similar. At least when they started to adapt Villainess shows, it was a lot of the same kind of Baccarina level bullshittery. But honestly, Dad reincarnated into a Villainess. We've had a few different where they've really deviated away from the expectations. But the idea that she wrote a story where, like, the main character in the story is a self-insert of her. But she didn't reincarnate as herself, her self-insert. No, she reincarnated as the Villainess, who's supposed to be trying to hate her. And just the way they're handling essentially a reverse harem and just everything like this, the comedy, the production style, Studio Dean isn't the best studio for adapting things with animation, but this is up their alley. Anyone who watched the Dad Reincarnated Villainess show, the way they handled humor in that show with its visuals is very similar to this. And I know this show's not going to be for everyone the same way it is for me, but please do yourself a favor. I know everyone's hyping up the may I ask for one final thing because, like, oh, she punches everyone. This girl filled up a bag full of rocks and smacked the creepy uncle upside his head. Trust me, you want to watch this. Now you make sure you drop a like on this video, help show your support. Subscribe if you happen to be new around here, and Patreon's where you'll catch my full live reactions to all this and more. If you also want to help fund the channel on videos just like these. Now, knowing my luck, I love this show this much, it's going to be like my worst performing show of the season. So, please, for the love of God, Villainess lovers, help this video do well. Comments and likes, they go a long way. So, I really walked in expecting, I'm going to come into this first episode. Yeah, it's a Villainess show, it's fine. We'll check out episode 2, maybe check out episode 3. And then we'd probably tap out on making videos on YouTube. I'd watch it over on Patreon until it bores me. But I really didn't expect to love it as much as I did, because this show, honestly, similar to Hero Without a Class. You look at this show's poster image and you look at Hero Without a Class poster image. They don't look like funny shows, but both of them are legitimately funny. This show's way more funny, mind you, but I'm just saying Wednesdays are turning out to be an unexpectedly funny day of the week. Because this show looks like your traditional Villainess show. The blonde butler looks like your generic pretty boy prince. But honestly, based on the poster image, I would have thought he's the first or second prince of a royal line. No, he's a butler. So that's a fun deviation. The Villainess character model doesn't feel like your traditional Villainess character model. I don't know how to explain it other than, like, when I look at her as a character model, I would expect her to be the friend of either the main character or the Villainess. But I'm not saying that as an insult, just like she doesn't look like your run-of-the-mill Villainess. But art style-wise, like, yeah, it looks like a Villainess show would. But I'm telling you, there's something here. The simplicity to the presentation honestly works in its favor at multiple points, and when it goes very elastic feeling with the character models, and what I mean is when character models feel like they have no bones in their body and they're made of jelly and they're wiggling, they're wobbling, they're going exaggerated. Comedy anime get around a lack of production value way more than action-driven shows. So this show being as silly as it seemingly wants to be, I think Studio Dean has found a show that's going to work very well for them. There was an ominous flag at the end of the episode, so basically, it's a month after the marriage assassination attempt from the uncle, and she gets like I think I'm forgetting something. So to me it says most likely she's so used to the comfort now, and I know there's going to be people who will say, well, if she wrote everything, she should know all the plot points. Not necessarily, and I'm not going to say this is Tolkien level writing, but she seemingly did write a decent amount of world building for this. Do you expect if Tolkien got thrown into Lord of the Rings, he's going to remember everything off the top of his head? Probably not. So I think it's a similar case of she's so used to the piece now, she's like, yeah, I think I wrote something, but there's so many small pieces that it could be the smallest flag that she's overlooking. Like, look at, I forget who she was talking with, but like, it's like thinking about the backstory of this one guy, and he's like, did I write that? Yeah, I guess I did. There's going to be a lot of that. It's a fun twist of the Villainess, and I will admit, Villainess anime the past couple of years haven't really been the same. Unlike your traditional isekai where you're like, okay, this is mostly the same, but here's a small twist. The Villainess intros have been a lot different these days, but this is easily the most different outside of the dad reincarnating one. Like, I'm not going to say it surpasses that, it's probably on par. A dude reincarnating into his daughter's Villainess video game is pretty freaking unique, but a girl reincarnating into her own story as the Villainess, but here's the thing, but she also self-inserted her into that story, but she doesn't reincarnate as her self-insert. Yeah, that's pretty freaking unique. I'm liking this one. I think it will be heavily slept on. I think it will be heavily undervalued. But in terms of pure unfiltered fun, if I'm looking at the brand new stuff of the season, so we're not including sequels, we're not including carryovers, because if we do that, when stuff like 2 Year Eternity or Dr. Stone airs, it's always going to be my favorite shit I'm watching. So we're looking at the brand new shit. I really like Wild Last Boss, I really like this, and to be honest, I really like Sonda. But there's a lot of good shit. Like, I'm watching like 20 things. Potentially like 21 if I watch another one that I'm planning to. This is great. And this is why it's so insane, because even before watching this seasons of anime, looking over the chart, there was at least a dozen shows I was sure were going to turn out fun, but I had like 20 things I wanted to watch. There's maybe one show I might drop this season if it doesn't turn out better, and that's that Banished Court Magician show. But already I'm having sorcerers tell me a couple things about that make me say that it could turn out better than even I'm expecting. The only people who are going to tell you that this is a dry anime season are the types of people who only play FIFA and Call of Duty and try to tell you it's a bad year for video games. When Expedition 33 is right there. Fantastic, even if you're not even if you're not necessarily into Villainess shows usually, this one's funny and special. I'm loving it. Your thoughts? Drop a like, sure you support those, subscribe if you're new around here, and Patreon is, of course, where you catch those full live reactions more. Like, hey, I also like to give video shout outs to my patrons. So today we got John Veltri, Yoon, Skill01, Marcus Nielsen, Lynn Hamrick, Tyler Countess, and we also have John Matrix. I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.